ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं कृपाकदामय विदासी स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथं तं सजीवं सद्वैतं सावधूतं हरिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपीश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता मुकुंद सप्तकंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विषयानु देवी प्रणमामि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यः सिंधु एव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो अनंत कोटि वैष्णव। So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our Bhagavad Gita reading session. So, last time we have stopped till chapter 2, verse number 37. So, we'll continue from verse number 38. So, I request anyone who wants to read first can raise hand in the chat section. Okay, Tanmay Prabhu, you can start from chapter 2, verse number 38.
Yes, Prabhuji. Chapter 2, verse number 38. Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labhao jaya jayao tato yudhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyashi. Translation by His Divine Grace. Do the fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Purport by His Divine Grace. Lord Krishna now directly says that Arjuna should fight for the sake of fighting because he desires the battle. There is no consideration of happiness or distress, profit or loss, victory or defeat in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That everything should be performed for the sake of Krishna is transcendental consciousness. So there is no reaction to material activities. He who acts for his own sense gratification, either in goodness or in passion, is subject to the reaction, good or bad. But he who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor is he a debtor to anyone, as one is in the ordinary course of activities. It is said, Devarshi Bhutapta Nrinam Pitrinam Na Kinkaro Nayam Rini Cha Rajan Sarvatmana Ya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihitya Kartam. Anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna, Mukunda, giving up all other duties, is no longer a debtor, nor is he obliged to anyone, not the demigods, nor the sages, nor the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity, nor forefathers. Bhagavatam 11.5.41. That is the indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjuna in this verse, and the matter will be more clearly explained in the following verses. Bhagavad Gita text, chapter 2, text number 39. Esathe abhihita sankhe buddhir yoge tva imam shrino buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyashi. Translation. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Partha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. According to the Nirukti or the Vedic dictionary, Sankhya means that which describes things in detail, and Sankhya refers to that philosophy which describes the real nature of the soul. And yoga involves controlling the senses. Arjuna's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification. Forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom after conquering his cousins and brothers, the sons of Dhritarashtra. In both ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification. Happiness derived from conquering them and happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification, even at a sacrifice of wisdom and duty. Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjuna that by killing the body of his grandfather, he would not be killing the soul proper. And he explained that all individual persons, including the Lord himself, are eternal individuals. They were individuals in the past, they are individuals in the present, and they will continue to remain individuals in the future because all of us are individual souls eternally. We simply change our bodily dress in different manners, but actually we keep our individuality even after liberation from the bondage of material dress. An analytical study of the soul and the body has been very graphically explained by Lord Krishna. And this descriptive knowledge of the soul and the body from different angles of vision has been described here as Sankhya in terms of the Nirukti dictionary. This Sankhya has nothing to do with the Sankhya philosophy of the atheist Kapila. Lord, before the impostor Kapila's Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the true Lord Kapila, the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who explained it to his mother Devahuti. It is clearly explained by him that the Purusha or the Supreme Lord is active and that he creates by looking over the Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated it with atomic individual souls. All these individuals are working in the material world for sense gratification, and under the spell of material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of Maya or sense gratificatory illusion, and it is only after many, many births of such sense gratificatory activities that a great soul surrenders unto Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, therefore fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth. Arjuna has already accepted Krishna as his spiritual master by surrendering himself unto him. Shishyaste aham sadhimam tuam prapannam. Consequently, Krishna will now tell him about the working process in Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga, or in other words, the practice of devotional service only for the sense gratification of the Lord. This Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10, verse 10 as being direct communion with the Lord, who is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. But such communion does not take place without devotional service. One who is therefore situated in devotional or transcendental loving service to the Lord, or in other words, in Krishna consciousness, attains to this stage of Buddhi Yoga by the special grace of the Lord. The Lord says, therefore, that only to those who are always engaged in devotional service out of transcendental love does he reward the pure knowledge of devotion in love. In that way, the devotee can reach him easily in the ever blissful kingdom of God. Thus, the Buddhi Yoga mentioned in this verse is the devotional service of the Lord. And the word Sankhya mentioned herein has nothing to do with the atheistic Sankhya Yoga enunciated by the impostor Kapila. One should not therefore misunderstand that the Sankhya Yoga mentioned here has any connection with the atheistic Sankhya. Nor did that philosophy have any influence during that time. Nor would Lord Krishna care to mention such godless philosophical speculations. Real Sankhya philosophy is described by Lord Kapila in the Srimad Bhagavatam, but even that Sankhya has nothing to do with the current topics. Here, Sankhya means analytical description of the body and the soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna's Sankhya and Lord Kapila's Sankhya as described in the Bhagavatam are one and the same. They are all Bhakti Yoga. Lord Krishna said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men make a distinction between Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Sankhya Yoga, Prithag Bala, Pravadanti na Pandita. Of course, atheistic Sankhya Yoga has nothing to do with Bhakti Yoga. Yet the unintelligent claim that the atheistic Sankhya Yoga is referred to in the Bhagavad Gita. One should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to work in Krishna consciousness, in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. One who works for the satisfaction of the Lord only, however difficult such work may be, is working under the principles of Buddhi Yoga and finds himself always in transcendental bliss. By such transcendental engagement, one achieves all transcendental understanding automatically by the grace of the Lord, and thus his liberation is complete in itself without his making extraneous endeavors to acquire knowledge. There is much difference between work in Krishna consciousness and work for fruitive results, especially in the matter of sense gratification for achieving results in terms of family or material happiness. Buddhi Yoga is therefore the transcendental quality of the work that we perform. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 40. Neha bhikramanaso asti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Translation by His Divine Grace. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Purport by His Divine Grace. Activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed, otherwise, the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work is in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. Whereas in material activity without 100% success, there is no profit. Ajamila performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. There is a nice verse in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मां चरणाम्बुजां हरेर्भजन् अपक्वो अथ पतेत् ततो यदि यत्र क्वा बभाद्रम् अभूदमुष्य किं कोवर्थ apto abhajatam swadharmata. If someone gives up his occupational duties and works in Krishna consciousness and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or as the Christians say, what profiteth a man if he gain the whole world yet suffer the loss of his eternal soul? Material activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again to Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family that will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 41. Vyavasayatmika buddhi rekeha kurunandana bahu sakha he anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. Translation by His Divine Grace. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. Purport by His Divine Grace. A strong faith that by Krishna consciousness one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika intelligence. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 22.62 states, Shraddha Shabde Vishwasha Kahe Shudrira Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sharva Karma Krita Haya. Faith means unflinching trust in something sublime. When one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligations to family traditions, humanity, or nationality. Fruitive activities are the engagements of one's reactions from past good or bad deeds. When one is awake in Krishna consciousness, he need no longer endeavor for good results in his activities. When one is situated in Krishna consciousness, all activities are on the absolute plane, but they are no longer subject to dualities like good and bad. The highest perfection of Krishna consciousness is renunciation of the material conception of life. This state is automatically achieved by progressive Krishna consciousness. The resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. A person in Krishna consciousness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches, so by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, then everyone will be satisfied. Service in Krishna consciousness is, however, best practiced under the able guidance of a spiritual master who is a bona fide representative of Krishna. who knows the nature of the student and who can guide him to act in Krishna consciousness. As such, to be well versed in Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Srila Vishwanatha Chakrabarti Thakura instructs us in his famous prayers for the spiritual master as follows: Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, Yasya prasadan nagati kutopi, Dhyayan stubam stasya yashasri sandhyam vande guru shri charanaravindam. By satisfaction of the spiritual master, the supreme personality of Godhead becomes satisfied. And by not satisfying the spiritual master, there is no chance of being promoted to the plane of Krishna consciousness. I should therefore meditate and pray for his mercy 3 times a day and offer my respectful obeisances unto him, my spiritual master. The whole process, however, depends on perfect knowledge of the soul beyond the conception of the body, not theoretically but practically. When there is no longer a chance for sense gratification manifested in fruitive activities, one who is not firmly fixed in mind is diverted by various types of fruitive acts.
Okay. Okay.
Bhagavad
Uh,
Gita. Yes, Prabhu.
okay. So you can pause for a minute. Okay. So as you can see, Arjuna, Krishna is trying to explain about a little glance of karma yoga. See, uh, we are in this material world and we are bounded by some laws, which we discussed yesterday only in coming back book regarding the modes of nature. So as per the modes of nature is dictating us by the like the puppet show where we have where I've told how the strings you all have seen in the Bhagavad Gita initial first page, first 1 or 2 pages, you can see one 3 persons are making the living entities dance with the help of the string. So these 3 personalities represent. You can see from here. See, you can see the book. So the 3 personalities are making the living entities dance. So this uh, implies the 3 modes of material nature. So these 3 modes of material nature are dictating us. So, however, and as per that mode, he gets that particular reaction. But Krishna is saying that one can overcome these 3 modes when one acts thinking, feeling, and willing. So these 3 things of the mind, when it is diverted to Krishna consciousness, when I think for Krishna, when I desire for Krishna, and when I do for Krishna. So these are the thoughts, words, and deeds. So these things, when we dovetail our desire to Krishna, then what will happen is that all our actions, if it is Krishna centered, then we will not get that reaction. The reaction gets nullified, uh, just like a soldier. When he kills the enemy, he is not getting any jail or he is not getting punished because he is under the supervision, under the direct orders of the commander. So similarly, the commander of this material world is Krishna. So when we abide by the rules of Krishna, then we are not subjected to the reaction of this material world. So this is the system. And one more is that uh, we all when we take birth, we acquire all sorts of debt. If people now you are a student, you think that you don't have debt. You think that you don't have debt. Debt means what? People generally think that debt means money. I have acquired some money from someone, and I'm unable to repay. So I am in a debt. But that is not debt. Right from our birth, we are indebted. How? Because we are indebted to the demigods. Because the demigods are providing us all the requirements to sustain our life, like rain, sunlight. So we are indebted to the demigods, and we are indebted to our forefathers. So our Pitralok. So all their after all the tapasya, we have got this human form of life, and we are also indebted to the animals, mother cow. So all is everything is connected. with us, or they are contributing for our sustenance. Each and everything, every living entity is contributing. We are invested, but how can we repay our debt? How can we repay our parents' debt? They have brought up, they have given us so much comfortable life. So we are indebted. But how can we repay all those debts? It is said, Krishna says in Bhagavatam, it is said that one who surrenders, one who is directly serving Krishna, then he is not subjected to those debts. He has already cleared all the debts. So it's like watering. When you water the root of a plant, the entire branches, leaves, fruits gets nourished automatically. So this is the potency of Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is that you are directly serving that root, which is Krishna. So you are able to you are no longer subjected to the branches or leaves or other sectors, because you can in one lifetime you cannot repay all the debt of everything, the demigods, the saintly people, the living entity, the animals, everyone. You cannot repay in one lifetime. It's difficult. Uh, but only you can repay by completely surrendering into Krishna. So Krishna takes care of all the debt. So in this way, a person does not get any sinful reaction when he is acting under Krishna consciousness. So normally person may ask in temple, the full time devotees are totally engaged in Krishna, but like we the normal grihastha people, we have work to do, we have the family to maintain. How we will be able to maintain? How will we be able to achieve the goal of life, which is Krishna Prema, in this lifetime itself? It is when you engage all your service unto Krishna. So when it is Krishna centered, suppose you have a job, so you have to understand that all the resources, you have got this job because of Krishna. Krishna has arranged this job for you. You have to think like that. You have to realize like that. So all the resources that you are having is from Krishna. So the result which you are getting, the salary which you get at the end of the month, it's because of Krishna. So these everything when you relate to Krishna, then you can understand. Then you are Krishna conscious. So it's not that only dedicated devotees in temple can do Krishna bhakti. It is for everyone. So you should not feel uh, you should not be depressed that no, I cannot do bhakti. Even if I am in the household, many problems are there. I cannot do properly. You can. Where there is a will, there is a way. You can also do. So in this way, you can dovetail all the desires. I will suppose I want to buy some fruit from the market. What will do? I will first offer it to Krishna. So that should be our mood. In every cell, Krishna should be in the center. In every walk of life, Krishna should be at the center. So in this way, you will not even get the sin. You will not get the reaction of this material world, and you will continue progressing in your spiritual life. So that is the thing. Uh, one another is that suppose one who has started Krishna consciousness lately, suppose 20, 40, 50 years have passed, instant gratification I could not uh, do. But if he started from that point, if he could do 1 to 2%, there is no loss. So he can continue from 3% in his next life. So it is recorded, like in your account, it is saved in your account. It is not destroyed. But in material knowledge, your material whatever you accumulate in this material world, you have to start again when you take the next course. So Krishna consciousness is such dynamic. You can see. Uh, you cannot in material world you cannot take a single penny, and even if you after the death you have to start again from the very beginning. The knowledge which you had, the opulences which you had, you all have to start it all over again. But Krishna Bhakti is like very subtle. It is totally spiritual, transcendental. Whatever you do, you can whatever remaining you have done, you can continue from that point. So that is the benefit of working in Krishna consciousness. So next, and one more thing is that we have to be resolute in our uh, Krishna consciousness. Like uh, yeah, last week I have discussed about one example. So there was a king palace, and four villagers wanted to meet him, uh, and they discussed that today we have to anyhow we have to meet the king, and you must not be engaged in any other service. Um, you four of you, the four of the villagers discuss among themselves that we will leave all our duties aside because today the meeting with the king is very urgent. We have to meet someone. So the villagers went, and the king's palace was so beautiful and so attractive. Like there were very beautiful gardens, there were very beautiful women who were dancing, and there were very beautiful fruits, trees, and food items prepared, very delicious food items. So when the villagers went inside the temple, one of the inside the palace, the one of the villagers was captivated by the beautiful waterfalls, the gardens. So he went there to see what is there. So let me see. Another villager got captivated by the beautiful women dancing. So let me enjoy. Let's see what is going on. And the other one more villager also got captivated by the delicacies of the food items. But one villager was very determined that I will meet the king. So anyhow, I have to meet the king because otherwise my whole project will fail. So that is called Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, resolute determination. So one has to be in a resolute determination in Krishna consciousness. No, yes, Maya will attack, Maya will tempt us in every possible way that we cannot even imagine. But we should be like a rubber ball, not a mud ball. When you drop a mud ball, it will stick to the ground. It will not get up. But when you throw a rubber ball, it will bounce back. So even if we get deviated from our Krishna consciousness, but we should again come back. So we should be like that flexible rubber ball, not that mud ball. So this is Krishna consciousness. That is Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. One has to be in that consciousness that no matter whatever problems I have, whatever distractions, whatever temptations I may fall into, because now we are not on that stage. Our bhakti is very weak. We are just a baby in Krishna consciousness. We will fall down. We will get deviated because life after life we have those samskaras stored in our subconscious mind. We get distracted, we get deviated from Krishna. But one thing should be very deeply rooted in our heart is that I am the spirit soul and I have to serve Krishna. I am the Krishna's eternal part and parcel. So my duty is Jiva Swarupaha Krishna Nityada. This concept should be deeply rooted. So even if I get deviated, I will again come back. So in this way, when you practice, keep on practicing, then what will happen? Vairagya develops, detachment. Automatically, Krishna consciousness, you don't have like some people out of grudgingly and willingly, there is a difference. Grudgingly, when you renounce something, you will be frustrated. Again, you will go back to sense gratification. So that should, but willingly, when you do it, yes, now I'm getting the taste. Now I'm willingly discarding the lower taste. Uh, then automatically it becomes renunciation becomes easier. So Krishna consciousness, when you practice devotional service, then automatically and automatically renunciation, the interest for this material world slowly diminishes with time. So that is why we have to do abhyas, practice, practice, and practice. So austerity. So this is austerity for us, controlling our mind and senses uh, every uh, every time is like austerity. So without austerity, you cannot progress in spiritual life. So this is one of the very key points. Vyavasai smita buddhi and austerity, penance. So this chanting of the holy name is our greatest austerity. This is the only thing which we can do in this age of Kali Yuga. So yesterday we were also discussing about the system of Kali Yuga. So how the Kali Yuga is so uh, degraded. So it is iron. It's like an iron age. It's where all the bad qualities are accumulated. All the asuras which is residing in our heart is manifesting in this age of Kali Yuga. So yesterday we discussed about the symptoms like the mm, uh, the protectors will become the destroyers. How? Um, so Yudhishthir Maharaj went there. Yudhishthir Maharaj was in a meeting. So Bhima was guarding in the doorway. So four people came, one people came. So he told that my crop, the fence which I have put to protect the crop, that fence itself ate my crop. So Bhima was very confused. How is it possible? So he sent his brother. So he told the person to send his to go to his brother and ask him about what is going on. So the second person came that I filled the bucket and I put the water I put the I kept the bucket I filled the bucket and I put water on 3 months. But when I reversed it, when I put the water again in the bucket with the steamer, the bucket was half filled. So Bhima was also confused. What will I do? I He could not answer what was going on. So he again sent the second person to his brother. So again the third person came. He said that um, he said that my one my elephant passed through a needle, but its tail got stuck. So Bhima was again shocked to hear about that. So he again sent the third person to his brother to go and ask for it. So again the fourth person came that he told that my cow gave birth to a baby calf and again and it ate and she ate her baby. Then Bhima was also mesmerized by this thing. So he again sent that fourth person to his brother. And the fifth person came and said that I have tied one mountain with a thread and I shook the mountain with this thread and the mountain broke into pieces. Bhima was all, Bhima could not, Bhima was blank, totally blank. He could not answer anything. So he also sent that fifth person to his brother. So after meeting was done, the five persons left, and Bhima asked, "Brother, what happened? What did the five person told you?" So then Yudhishthir Maharaj explained that the first person who told that uh, fence which I have kept to protect the crop, it means that it means that the protectors will destroy it. Means that all the political leaders which they will lure the general masses that they will make false promises that I will do this for you. I will create I will construct your road. But when they get the vote, when they win the election, they forget everything. So Rakshaki Bhaktak. So that is the thing. The second point is that parents will give love, immense love to their children, but children will not reciprocate that love. So they will send their parents to Vridhashram. So this is the condition. This is the analogy of that bucket and the mug. So the bucket will be half filled when it is reversed with those mug water. When we put the mug water into the bucket will be half filled. So this is that love is only from our parents' side, not from the children's side. It's the symptom of Kali Yuga. So the third person told that the elephant passed to the middle, but its tail got stuck. It means that big white collar criminals, uh, due to their influence and political power, they will easily get out from serious charges, serious criminal charges. They will get out. They'll easily get out. And small crooked criminals like thieves, they will stay on the jail. So this is the condition of this material world in Kali Yuga. And the fourth scenario is the cow ate her baby, means that abortion. Nowadays abortion is going on. My figure will destroy. I am modeling. I cannot keep this baby with myself. I have to abort this child. So this is the condition. And the fifth one is the uh, positive one. So the fifth one is means that even though there are all the bad qualities, but when one chants the holy name, the holy name is like the thread which will destroy the mountain of sinful reactions. So this is the power of the holy name. So whatever sin, all the sins which is accumulated, like the previous four, which has been discussed in here, scenario. If he has committed all the previous four sins, even if he chants the holy name, then all the things that he has done, all the four symptoms of the sins which is mentioned, all gets nullified. That is the potential of the holy name. So uh, this holy name is like it is a one shot एक तीर से अनेक शिकार. So everything is destroyed. All the sinful reaction is destroyed. So this is the potency of the holy name. But one should recognize. One should also understand that one should not take this holy name for granted. Now, like in the seventh offense, it is said that one should not commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name, because holy name is fully conscious. It can understand because it is Abhinatva Nama Namini. Krishna and his name is non-different. So one should not take this advantage. One should not take it for granted at all. So only then, when we sincerely chant the holy name, not for some like normal materialistic people may chant the holy name just to get rid of their karma, but it works. But a devotee's mentality is why I am chanting? To give pleasure to Krishna and Radharani. So what is the real meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Oh Krishna, oh energy of Krishna. We are approaching Radharani. We are requesting Radharani to engage us, in that loving devotional service. That is the meaning of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we should be in a prayerful mood. That, oh Radharani, please engage me in your loving devotional service. So that is the mood of the devotee. In that mood, we should always stand. We should beg. We should feel like a bhijari. So we have no one else except Krishna. So in that selfless mode, when we stand, then Krishna will reciprocate. Yes, he's really interested in me. Then Krishna will turn his face to you. So that is the potential. Then only the real holy name. This is the real symptom of the holy name. So, no doubt, the holy name has potential to eradicate sin, but devotees don't consider any material problems. Their only concern is Krishna. How can I serve Krishna? How can I give pleasure to Krishna? By chanting the holy name. And holy name is the only way with which you can go back to Krishna. So, okay. So next, anyone wants to read from text 42? Okay, now I will randomly ask. Okay, Sahil, you have not at all read any time. So please kindly unmute and start the reading, please.
Chapter 2, text 42. Yam imam puspitam vacham pravadyanti avaschita veda vada latha.
Okay. I'm okay. If you are getting uncomfortable because focus, I'm helping you out. So you can read the translation and the first bit. So yam imam pustitam vakam pravadanti avipastita vedavada rata patha nanyat astiti vadina kamatmana sarvapada janma karma pada pradam kriya vishesha bahulam Bhogeshwarya gatim prati. Okay, you can continue.
Translation: Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, result in good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Purport: people in general are not very intelligent, and due to their ignorance, they are most attached to the fruitive activities recommended in the Karma Kanda portions of the Vedas. They do not want anything more than sense gratification proposals for enjoying life in heaven, where wine and women are available, and material opulence is very common. In the Vedas, many sacrifices are recommended for elevation to the heavenly planets, especially the Jyotishthoma sacrifices. In fact, it is stated that anyone desiring elevation to heavenly planets must perform these sacrifices. And men, when with a poor fund of knowledge, think that this is the whole purpose of Vedic wisdom. It is very difficult for such inexperienced persons to be situated in the determined action of Krishna consciousness. As fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees without knowing the results of such attractions, enlightened men are similarly attached by such heavenly opulences and the sense enjoyment thereof. In the Karma Kanda sections of the Vedas, it is said, Apama Somam Amarta Abhyuma and Akshayam Ave Chaturmasya Yajina Sukritam Bhavati. In other words, those who perform the 4 month penances become enlightable to drink the Soma Rasa beverages to become immortal and happy forever. Even on this earth, some are very eager to have Soma Rasa to become strong and fit to enjoy sense gratifications. Such persons have no faith in liberation from material bondage, and they are very much attached to the pompous ceremonies of Vedic sacrifices. They are generally sensual, and they do not want anything other than the heavenly pleasures of life. It is understood that there are gardens called Nandana Kanana, in which there is good opportunity for association with angelic, beautiful women and having a profuse supply of soma rasa wine. Such bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to such material temporary happiness and as lords of material world.
So text 44. भोगेश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां तयः तसं व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि समदो न विधीयते. Sahil,
Yes, Prabhu.
yes, read.
Purport. Translation. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulences, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Purport. Samadhi means fixed mind. The Vedic dictionary, the Nirukti says Samyak adhyate अस्मिन् आत्मा तत्व यथात्म yathatyam. When the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 45.
Okay, Sahil, you can stop. So next, Tapas Prabhu, you can continue. So can you recite that sloka?
Yes, Prabhu, I can try.
Okay, okay.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 45. Three guna Vyasa Veda Nistri Nistri Gunau Bhavarjuna Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattva Sthyo Nir Yoga Keshmatma. Translation. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All material activities involve action and reaction in the three modes of material nature. They are meant for fruitive results, which cause bondage in the material world. The Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position on the transcendental plane. Arjuna, as a student and friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to rise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, where in the beginning there is Brahma, Brahma Jigyasa, or questions on the supreme transcendence. All the living entities who are in the material world are struggling very hard for existence. For them, the Lord, after creation of the material world, gave the Vedic wisdom advising how to live and get rid of the material entanglement. When the activities for sense gratification, namely the Karma Kanda chapter, are finished, Karma Kanda chapters are finished, then the chance for spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishads, which are part of different Vedas. As the Bhagavad Gita is a part of the fifth Veda, namely the Mahabharata, the Upanishad mark the beginning of transcendental life. As long as the material body exists, there are actions and reaction in the material modes. One has to learn tolerance in the face of dualities such as happiness and distress, or cold and warm. And by tolerating such dualities, become free from anxieties regarding gain and loss. This transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna consciousness when one is fully dependent on the goodwill of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text 46. Yavan artha udapane sarvat samplutodake.
Okay, Prabhu, we will stop here. We'll stop here for today. So it's already 10. So you can there in text 45. See the three modes of material nature. Krishna is talking about the three modes of material nature. So these three modes, how these three modes are dictating us. So we are all as a condition, so we are all working under the three modes as I've already discussed previously. So what happens? What are the symptoms? See, in a mode of passion, we all know how the person acts. You can see in the mode of passion, his lust is the primary source, primary quality of the mode of passion. So he will be selfish. One of the primary qualities is selfish. He always sees the opposite gender as an object of enjoyment, and his whatever charity he offers is only for some personal gain. So he's suppose he is giving 25 rupees, so he will give charity in such a way that he can get 50 rupees in return. So he's like a business person. So these are the type of people who are in the mode of passion. So they are mainly selfish. So they like the food that they eat are really spicy food, too much salty. These are the type of food liked by the mode of passion. The person who is in the mode of passion, they always their mind is always agitated, and the mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance is the most darkest mode of this material nature. So the person in such condition, they are only uh, dictated by the bodily demands of only. So like animals, they are always living on their main thing is instinct. Like they have to eat, they eat. They feel like sleeping, they sleep. They feel like mating them. So these are the type of people in the mode of ignorance, animalistic tendencies. These are the mode of ignorance. Their knowledge is also limited to their bodily demands. Even if they can function, uh, they have the capacity, but due to the influence of that mode, they become lethargic. They are lazy. They are unable to work. So they are always engaged in some illicit activities, gambling, intoxication. So these are the symptoms. And the mode of goodness is also binder in the sense that a mode of goodness person is always hankering after knowledge, his wisdom, everything. Whenever he gets wisdom, he becomes very proud. So that is also one of the cause of bondage. These three modes are very, these three modes, not even goodness can help you get out of this material. So, but goodness will help you, mode of goodness will help you take the step of Krishna consciousness. So this is one of the stepping stones to Krishna consciousness. So one has to be in that mode of, at least one has to be in that state of Krishna consciousness. First, the mode of goodness, then only he can go further into Krishna consciousness, deep into the Krishna consciousness. So how one can overcome this theme? So in further chapters, Krishna will explain. I will not explain today in details. So it's already time. There are in further sessions, and we'll discuss about those three modes. So we can end here for today. So I request everyone to kindly unmute and chant the holy name before we end. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Ram, Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Jai Jai.